To the studio. We are very pleased tonight to be able to present to you Johnny Mitch.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Johnny.
Hi.
Well, welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
Today is a very special day for Johnny because he has released a video today for a single that he released 2 weeks ago. And the single is Hand in Glove.
Hand in Glove.
The epic old classic from the Smiths recreated. What does Hand in Glove mean to you, Johnny Mitch?
Hand in Glove to me is first song I ever heard of the Smiths.
And it was their first single.
And it was the first single. Yeah. So, yeah. And as soon as I heard that song, I was hooked. I am, in fact, a great fan of Johnny Marr's guitar playing. And so recreating it all means getting involved in all that. So
what was it that caught your attention the first time you heard it?
it's the depths of guitars. It's all that jangle. It's pretty much, I think that's a signature sound of Johnny Marr, actually inventing a genre. I mean, I think a sound of his own.
That's
not
interesting.
A genre. There is a genre called jangle pop.
Uh-huh.
But he's within that somewhere. Definitely his own sound.
Is he like a big inventor in that?
Yeah, I mean, he is.
Field.
Yeah, I mean, so many different influences going in there musically. But I mean, when we talk about, I'm a big fan of Johnny Marr. I think that would be unfair, just a single Johnny Marr. Although I'm a fan of his music, super fan. There is Andy Rourke and Mick Joyce. So Andy Rourke, the bass player, I think doesn't get as much attention as he deserves, and Mick Joyce for that matter, because the four of them together is like lightning in a bottle. There's nothing else quite sounds like that. That's been a big interest for me to try and chase after that sound.
But that's interesting that you say that as well, because often you think the Smiths, Morrissey, some people think Johnny Marr too, but there's two other people in the band as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like they all contributed so much.
It's like lightning in a bottle. Nothing else sounds the same. So trying to create that means trying to find those factors that make it up. So trying to create the Johnny Marr sound, is Andy Rourke and Mick Joyce. They're pretty much a big part of that as well. Of course, Johnny's gonna have to play his own thing. He does his own thing. He is his own. He has his own sound anyway. But for the Smiths, that's what it means to me. That width of sound. No, and as well as that, we got to talk about here how much the producers, as Stephen Street and John Porter, have brought their expertise and influences too. I think it's John Porter, who used to play with Roxy Music, who was a producer for the Smiths. Stephen Street as well. Big things to come in and help bring all these things together, all these influences, and make it into the thing what it is. Mm-hmm. What it is for me anyway.
Yeah, it's very much teamwork, isn't it?
It is, yeah. But yeah, chasing after that wide guitaring sound is a big, that's my thing.
So you heard the first single from them, Hand in Glove, around 40 years ago roughly, and you've been fascinated ever since, because I mean you grew up in Manchester as well.
Yes,
you're actually from Manchester.
Yeah,
same place as the Smiths, so you kind of hung out in the same.
Well, we're of the same background.
Yeah,
they're from
same background
kind of
as well.
Yeah, they're from Irish migrants to Manchester, and I'm from Scottish migrants to Manchester. So we have that same Celtic influence, and that influences the music as well. That's quite an important thing. I don't know how much them guys are aware of that. I mean, and certainly from what I've read about Johnny, his growing up with his parents, they were very bohemian. So I'd imagine there would be lots of different types of music for sure, because that's the Irish thing. But they've got your traditional music thing in there as well, which plays a little bit of a part.
Yeah, there's probably some traditional music there as well. Yeah.
And multicultural Manchester, there's other cultures' music involved. There's a lot of African music. There's a lot of reggae. There's a lot of
lots of American music.
It's too. A melting pot. They made an Americana type music, African music, made it very British, and as well there's a kind of joyous sadness in the music too.
Yeah.
Which with this song Hand in Glove in particular, there's something kind of funky about it, but still very much rainy Manchester, dirty town. I mean, even with the harmonica part in it, I think people have written there's a harmonica part that I played in there. It's quite important that brings some kind of, so it's written working class edge like the Beatles' "Love Me Do," the dee da 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 da. What that same thing played on the harmonica too, brings a kind of air of sadness, hopelessness, but joyous hopelessness. I think that's the that was what was written.
Joyous hopelessness.
Joyous
I think
hopelessness.
That's a really good way of putting it.
That's the one.
And I think, like when we were talking about this earlier as well, how they went to see a band when they were in America. I forgot now who it was.
It was Van Halen.
Van Halen. They went to see Van Halen.
Johnny Marr insisted that they go out to see Van Halen to see the presentation of Van Halen.
Yeah, and Johnny Marr was like blown away with the like power and
the
just the
showmanship and everything
of Van Halen. And I think Morrissey wasn't as impressed.
No, they
Johnny
thought
Marr.
that was a bit. What's the word he would have probably used? Bit vulgar.
Yeah,
vulgar and over
probably
the
vulgar. But and then I mean the way that the Smiths were, they were so kind of awkward and like normal working class boys.
They were just like the guys next door.
Yeah, and that's what's so endearing about them as well.
I think that's what it is. Yeah, there's a sense of not overbearing, not over grandiose, anything like that. They're very much down to earth.
Yeah.
And so with that, it actually makes the music far more approachable for me as well. I mean, bearing in mind, I did this this project. I've undertaken this on the songs. This is the first one of 5. Just basically because I've always promised I was going to do this. I promised myself I would start learning the songs, and we had a pandemic recently, and I had no bookings, so decided now is the time. What do I want to do? Now is the time.
Yeah.
And I know as well as that, it's like now is the time to learn Smith songs. At this sort of time too, I have friends, that they're playing different types of music too. I mean, because somebody said to me, "Why do Smiths covers?"
Yeah, why?
But I have friends that play in they're jazz players. They play John Coltrane cover bands and Miles Davis cover bands. I have other friends that play Beethoven and Vivaldi cover bands. They're called orchestras. So, I mean, why is there any difference between doing the Smiths? And it's something that I was really into. Only what's gone on behind there is I started making the demos, and I was asked if, why not share it with other people too? If other people might have an interest in doing that. I don't intend to be, my intention is not to take over away from the Smiths. In fact, quite the opposite. Yeah,
actually, I was going to say your project here, it's actually a project for nerds, isn't it?
Well, kind of, yeah.
I mean,
that's,
I'm not going to call you a nerd.
That is one.
But
one
I mean,
aspect.
To me, that's a compliment. If you're a guitar nerd, I would say that's a very big compliment. Or any kind of music nerd, that's a compliment in my eyes.
Well, we're chasing that sound and feel. That's the yeah.
So you've been listening to all these recordings.
Maybe I'm just trying to shy away from the nerd there.
What should I say? An expert.
It's cool.
Aficionado.
The cool nerd, aficionado.
Yeah,
right,
no, but I think nerd is a compliment.
Right.
I'll call you a nerd.
Right.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, but
right.
I mean, you've analyzed all the different guitar parts.
I have, yeah.
Like what is Johnny Marr actually playing in the songs? And you've also looked at the bass because you play the bass as well on the recordings.
Yeah, that's an important factor too, because that's very funky. But nonetheless, if we take Hand in Glove, let's deal with that. The first thing I did, I saw Johnny actually explain this. Johnny Marr was explaining how he came about this song in particular, and it's sitting at his mum and dad's house with a really cheap old guitar that used to have at his mum and dad's house. And he was there with his girlfriend, Angie. Anyway, she leaves him get on with doing when he's in his nutty space to go and play his guitar. And he thought that he'd actually written a guitar line that sounds like the funk band from the 70s, Chic. Do you know who they remember they were like Freak Out?
I've heard some of their songs, yeah.
When you think of Freak Out or a tune like that, you don't think of the Smiths, right?
No.
No, but he had this line, so when he was playing, like, so he would say to the guitar, no, this guitar's in tune, but... Yeah, something like this. If he had this line, it would be like, this would be something, what he thought was a Chic, a hit. So he'd be like...
that just sounds the Smiths. But,
yeah,
I mean,
okay.
in his
I mean,
head,
I get it from
in
like from
his
seven
head,
in his head.
Yeah.
I get it because like
see
I
it.
was in Manchester in the 70s and all the dance. So there used to be dance halls. Remember them dance halls, and these big dance places. And I remember Chic playing and disco being the thing. And anyway, so this is what he thought he had. And then he got Angie to run him to Morrissey's place in a beat up old Volkswagen Beetle that her mum had lent Angie. You can see this on Radio X. Johnny Marr talks about the song Hand in Glove. Anyway, he normally tells it like a joke when he gets to Morrissey's. He's praying it's the only day that Morrissey isn't actually he's not gone to the town. And he gets there and he wasn't. But that's the way he tells it. And he says he screws up the joke. However, he was there, Morrissey was there, and he's like, when they're driving there, so he was like driving, and he's sitting with his legs up with the guitar in his lap like he's having a baby. So he doesn't want to change this. He doesn't want to change that whole groove thing, you know. And he doesn't, but his girlfriend may be out of boredom or maybe just wanting to actually...
She'd heard it for 20 minutes.
Yeah, she'd heard it for 20 minutes and, you know, and thought, and she says, can you play it like Iggy? So like Iggy Pop and the Stooges, that's a bit more like grungy. Punky almost. Iggy Pop is like the godfather of punk. And so he's like, okay. And he says like, well, you know, this is his girlfriend. He says, Angie, she's into like Iggy Pop, Jimi Hendrix and Bob Marley. So what the hell she's doing with me? I'm not even in your wildest dreams like any of those guys. But anyway, to please his girlfriend, it's not exactly, it should be really fizzy and overdriven, what they call distorted, but yeah. And really hit the guitar and really, really hit it. And then you end up with this grungy thing underneath. Mm-hmm. Then on top of that, add a little, just a... This is very typical of Johnny Marr's way of playing underneath. Then add maybe a 12-string guitar and start padding them out in a mix so that they go, one's going left, the other's going right, one's built on top of that, one, till eventually you get a great big wild sound. That's one part. Then another part, he said, when he was playing guitar, he only wanted to ever learn one song, and that was Rebel Rebel by David Bowie, and that the guitar line played by Mick Ronson is a very simple guitar line. But he had this, and Morrissey was recording him in emergency in his hallway to get this song down, and he thought, well, I've got this cool riff.
This was when he arrived in the car with his girlfriend at Morrissey's place.
At Morrissey's place.
And he goes, check this out.
Check this out. Yeah, and he's going like, oh, so what do I need now? I need something else to decorate this. I know, I'll play Rebel Rebel. So he plays like a Rebel Rebel line. So you end up with...
Yeah.
And then you end up with something that sounds... we're getting towards Hand in Glove. And putting these things together then of course the bass line. Now there's other things that you've got to work in a studio to go and put this together, because that's the hard part. How do you get the sound then? You have to meet somebody that you can work with. And I've been very lucky that I've managed to find that there's a guy that's in our closeness here. He lives very close to where we are. He's moved here. Who is a wonder kid in the studio. He has his own studio. His name is Erik Berglund, and his production company is called Massive Music. And Erik undertook all the kind of like programming of keyboards, the drumming, and helping me actually put all these sounds together in a way that could be played live and in a band, because that as well is the thing to do. I did this because when I've been listening to music, I've not found any bands playing this style of music. And of course, the Smiths don't play together anymore. If they did, I wouldn't be doing this.
We noticed that Morrissey...
Well, I would, but I probably wouldn't be releasing...
plays in Las Vegas now, yeah, and Johnny Marr is writing new songs and everything. But
Johnny's, has got some new releases.
I mean, as you say, the whole Smiths magic that they had...
well, they have a
isn't
magic...
really...
It's not the same sound. It's not the same... For me, it's not the same sound. I mean,
well, exactly.
Not detracting from anything they're doing.
No.
What they're doing is great, and I'm still a fan.
And as artists, I mean, they've developed.
Totally.
But then it's so interesting to figure out what they actually did together when they had that dynamic
that's the whole deal.
of the quartet,
That's my deal with this project, yeah.
because that really was magic what they had together. And I think
super
they're
for me.
aware of that as well.
Yeah,
I think they're aware of that.
I think so.
Yeah, so to have the luxury of like delving into that.
Yeah,
and
exact. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we put it out as a release, you know, and this is the thing, if people like it, I know it's not going to win over any, I mean, it's, you know, if you're a Smiths fan already, you already know what we're talking about here. So if there's somebody perhaps that's never heard them before, because you don't hear it on the radio, it's not anything you would hear unless you saw it in a film or something. You know, the idea is bring more people into the Smiths music and, you know, and find a community as well.
And also, I think this project is a way for all of us to talk about good music and like discuss and analyze good music.
I'm sure, yeah, we all have music that, I mean, the thing that you were saying earlier on today is what music that's actually moved you in, you know, and done something in your life. And I'm sure everybody out there has their own idea of which music actually moved you. And maybe you could actually let us know on this as well. What music is it that's moved you? Are you a Smiths fan? Are you like, I know that Sophie's a big Cure fan, for example. We both like Dinosaur Jr. and the Pixies. But these are influences like that we take into music playing, I suppose. You know, I'm chasing the Smiths here as well, but just like the Smiths, they have their influences and their idols, and you know, try to formulate their own music from that.
Yeah. And I think you touched on before as well that it's a luxury to get to just dive into the music that's really touched you.
It is. It's certainly special to work with somebody that can help me do that as well, because you know, you can have the idea, but then to have somebody that can help you formulate that and into a solid body of work that you can call a single. There's a lot more work and a lot more planning than what you actually think, from deciding what tempo, how it's going to all be mixed out, and what you're hearing in your head. You've got to try and paint it with words. So,
and I think also that you mentioned the pandemic before as well, the fact that we've had a pandemic with having to stay at home a lot and no gigs. I mean, if you're a musician, there's been no gigs to do. And I think to use the pandemic to something good, for something good.
When life throws,
you know?
lemons, you know, make lemonade.
Yeah, it's given you the opportunity to do this project,
and just, you know, to not focus on the negative side or negative impact of what was going on. So I hope that you kind of think that I used the time wisely, and I hope you enjoyed the project and the ideas where I'm trying to go with this.
That's great. Listen, there's a few people on here. It would be really interesting, like Johnny said here earlier, what music has moved you in your life? Do you have like a particular song or particular band? Well, I'm thinking more specific. I'm thinking song or band that's been like the soundtrack of your life. What's moved you in your life? That would be really interesting to hear.
I think with that we give away our kind of like our social backgrounds, because to me the Smiths comes from that 80s part, and you know, I'm from Britain, of course, so that kind of, there's a lot of it that reflects, even not directly in the music, there's an awful lot of associations with certain things that were going on at the time, like the whole social climate, if you like. So I can't help but picture that, and that's good, the good and the bad, which is really cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting as well, that we're seeing kind of social change nowadays that's kind of a little bit reminiscent of those days, you know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So it's certainly music. If that music was a soundtrack of that time, it will certainly fit in with our times too. I think it's music that appeals to.
It is my
people
great
in
hope
all
that I might
times.
be able to go out and play, and perform music, and you know, if people would like to actually hear it being performed, I would certainly love to be going out there and performing it. That's
I think people will be interested in hearing it.
I mean, we've gone through this stages, as in, like, first of all, the realization they can play the music, you know, to my own varying degree of, you know, to where I'm happy with it. And then we got like to a recorded package, so I can actually sit it out there and see what people actually think of it and hope that they enjoy it. To the final, I was actually playing live in a band in a venue. Remember what they are, live venues.
Well, I
Or
suppose that's the
festivals even. Wow, maybe,
that's the aim, isn't it?
that would be an
final
aim, yes, and I would really like to actually go and do that. So
Do you know, I'm gonna ask you to maybe switch guitars because you also have a bass guitar with you that you wanted to show some bass lines. But before you switch over, do you want to tell us a bit about your beautiful guitar?
yeah, certainly. What I have here, I don't know if you can see the whole. There we go. Put the whole thing in here. This actually is a. The guitar is called a Novo Cirrus T. And the idea behind what's more important for Smith's music is here. If you ever see Johnny Marr, he has a guitar that's made by Fender, and it's what they call this body shape is offset guitar. So it's not evenly set, it's offset. Everything is down this way. And what he actually played on his original music was when he went in the studio, the producer had 50s Fender Telecaster. It's a type of guitar normally associated with country and soul, but it's gone into so many, but normally country and soul. And
So that's what he played.
And so it was a Telecaster, and this guitar is actually an offset body, which I think is totally cool, which is in keeping with the Johnny Marr thing, whilst having the properties of a Telecaster with its electronics here. So you get that twanging tone. And the company that makes these is, the guy that's in charge of the company is called Dennis Fano, and the company are called Novo, and they're based in Nashville. It's an American-sounding guitar, which is great for surf, or great for grunge, or great for the Smiths even. And this paired up with I've got an old, a friend has loaned me, thank you very much, Bins Mats Larson, a very beautiful silver face 70s reverb, Fender Reverb Deluxe. And with this combination, you get the twang and you get that lovely Smithsy jangle sound. And then you can get pedals, and then from there you can paint tonal colors. That's the best way of putting that, yes.
Yeah. Do you want to give us a blast on it before you put that one away?
Well, I mean, it's just, you can... Okay. I better not play any more than that, because I'll just keep going all night and it'll be noodle time, and that's not something that we want to be taking up time when we're trying to actually talk about the beauty of the Smiths and promoting this song.
Well, actually, Johnny Mitch, one more thing I wanted to say and point out is that we said earlier that the Smiths were a team. It was teamwork. There were 4 of them.
There were 4,
and you've managed to get the wonderful producer Erik Berglund to play drums on the track.
Yes.
But that kind of leaves you to play the other ones as it is just now. So you
for the moment.
For the moment. So you've been playing bass guitar, acoustic guitar, electric guitar, and you're singing. So when you do these songs live, because you're doing Johnny Marr's guitar parts and you're also the singer, so you're actually having to do both those parts at the same time, which is pretty hard to do. So I'm just saying that I'm very impressed. I just want you all to understand how impressive this is.
Some of the songs sing and play at the same time has been a real challenge, and that is without doubt, and that probably will come through the more I try and do this live. But I've been enjoying doing it. I've been rehearsing doing that, and it's a lot of fun.
How much have you practiced in order to...
I have been putting in a lot of practice to get this into an automatic... I mean, now, because even someone you see in the video, I'm dancing as well. So to dance, sing, and play all these weird parts, because the singing and the playing are kind of sometimes different timings.
Yeah, because it's not easy music, this, at all, of course.
Well, I would say that sometimes it can be quite easy, but it's deceptively
easy.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I was thinking, because you also have your bass guitar with you, I thought we would...
I have a bass guitar. It's a...
Yeah, it's actually with us here in the studio. So while Johnny Mitch switches over to another guitar, we're going to show you the video that was released today. The single, Hand in Glove, was released 2 weeks ago, and the plan is to release a new single at the end of every month this year, except December. So we have the next one end of September, then we have end of October, then we have end of November, and then end of January you're releasing your EP that's called Your Strange Ways, with all the 5 tracks from this project. And in between these single releases, so there's something happening every 2 weeks basically, but today and then every 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Of course, there will be a video released as well. And Hand in Glove was released today. It's filmed by Anne-Sophie Johnson and edited by Jons Jonna. And you are going to get to see it right now while
Hope you enjoy
Johnny
it, guys.
Mitch switches guitar.
Hope you enjoy it.
Ready for this? Here it is, Hand in Glove.
Hand in glove, the sun shines out of our behinds. No, it's not like any other love. This one is different because it does. Hand in glove, we can go wherever we please, and everything depends upon how near you stand to me. And if the people stare, then the people stare. Oh, I really don't know and I really don't care. Kiss my shame. Hand in glove, the good people laugh. Yes, we may be hidden by rags, but we've something they'll never have. Hand in glove, the sun shines out of our behinds. Yes, we may be hidden by rags, but we've something they'll never have. And if the people stare, then the people stare. Oh, I really don't know and I really don't care. Kiss my shame. So hand in glove, I stake my claim and I'll fight till last breath. If they dare touch a hair on your head, and I'll fight till last breath. For the good life is out there somewhere, so stay on my arm, you little charmer. But I know my luck too well. Yes, I know my luck too well. And I'll probably never see you again. I'll probably never see you again. I'll probably never see you again. There we have it. This charming man. No,
Hand in Glove.
Hand in glove.
I was just saying there, do you want to reveal what the next single is going to be?
Yeah, I just gave that away.
You just gave it away.
I gave it away for free. I gave it away.
Well, maybe we should just take this opportunity to ask them, because as we were saying, we're going to have a new single from Johnny Mitch's Smith's project every 4 weeks. So in 2 weeks' time, end of September, is time for the second single of the project, which is
This charming man.
This Charming Man.
This charming man.
Yeah.
As you say, I got kind of caught up in that there because we were talking about playing things and singing at the same time, and this charming man is exactly one of those challenges of More Which Later. We stay focused with Hand in Glove and the first single there.
So you've changed from your lovely Novo guitar to your Squier bass.
Yes.
Yeah.
P bass. It's
P
a bit
bass.
of P bass. They call it like precision bass. Let's see if I stick this up here. We can have that in the back. It makes a good back to. Oh, it looks good. Looks good on you. So
I know it suits me.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the precision bass finds its way. I mean, Andy Rourke has played loads of different things. I've seen him playing a red one of these, and it was actually it wasn't the actual proper Fender either. It was he played a lot of go-to basses. He didn't have the top of range stuff that you might think. And he managed to get a great sound from it anyway.
I mean, actually, that's interesting as well, because when we talk about these older bands who like meant so much to so many people, and they kind of are the soundtrack of our lives, often the instruments that they used and the equipment that they used wasn't that pricey or high range or special. A lot of them used very simple instruments, and they started off with like
in your hands,
and they started off with quite scrappy instruments,
exactly.
And they managed to create epic music that's meant so much to so many people. I think it's a good
thing because it gives you a chance to actually, as you get better, you get a better instrument, and it's more incentive to learn, I guess.
Yeah, and I think that also maybe the instruments give it a certain sound as well,
Yeah, there's
an urgency.
Lots of scope for that. Cheap instruments can sometimes sound absolutely amazing.
Is maybe urgency a good word?
Urgency is great.
Like you say, to improve and get better instruments.
Yeah,
well,
maybe so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
So the bass that they played on.
The bass that they played on, it's a kind of like I saw that, I mean, when I was playing this song, this is one of the first things that I saw as well when thinking about putting this together. How am I going to do this? I mean, I've got to actually build this from the ground up. So I didn't have a drummer as such. So I had to sit with a click machine and try and figure out what a tempo would be. What tempo would this go to? So I was thinking with this click in my mind and then getting a bass and seeing if I would be able to play the song. And what I've actually done is I've rewritten the bass part because there's 2 different keys that this song was recorded in. 3 different keys.
Okay.
Originally it was recorded, this is musician speak for saying, originally it was higher up and it was in the key of G minor, which is way above what I could sing. It wouldn't be possible for me to do that. Then it was lower in E minor, which is way too low.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the Smiths songs, Johnny Marr had a capo on the 2nd fret of his guitar. He learned how to do that to actually help sing the songs and play the strings open. Obviously, what guitar players do sometimes use a capo to stop tuning up the guitar, which is what I used to do too. That puts a lot of strain on an instrument. Is put a capo, a bar across the 2nd fret here, and just play the guitar like... That would make the song in the key of E, of F sharp minor. I've ended up in F minor.
Okay.
So I've rewritten the kind of the bass line by going around all that. So I could give you a wee shot of how it listens.
Yes, please.
I might use that using the click track of the recorded Mr. Erik Berglund. I recorded him some of the drums, so maybe we can go in from there.
So we get to hear Erik Berglund from Massiv Musik in Mockfjärden, Dalarna in Sweden as a backdrop to this, yeah. Yeah.
Shimmy my way around here somehow. Make sure I've got the right channel switched on.
We have some more people watching this now, and our question for this evening is, what's your song or your band or bands that has meant the most to you in your life? What's a band that's provided the soundtrack of your life? It would be really interesting to know. Maybe you have a specific song as well that's been very important to you.
Yeah. Okay, well, if I can try and just tiptoe my way back here and try and play the bass. I'll see if I get Erik playing away here.
There are guitar pedals and dogs littering the floor.
Okay, let's see what happens. Do we have that happening?
Yeah, so this is the amazing Erik Berglund playing drums. He's not here just now, he's on a recording. Yeah. Keep going all night. I love it. Right, I was wonderful. I was trying to figure out where the vocals are. Are you able to play bass and sing the vocals at the same time? Should we challenge Johnny Mitch?
That is not something.
So where would the vocals come in?
Vocals would be something like, I suppose, hand in glove, the sun shines out of our eyes. It's like another love. And that's really.
This is so hard, isn't it? When you get a different instrument and try and sing along with it. Hand in glove, hand in glove, the sun shines out of our behinds. We make any other love. This one is different because it's us. So,
hand in glove, wherever we please, and everything depends upon how near you stand to me.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's really, really difficult.
So that's
play the bass and do that at the same time.
And that's
never tried that before.
I'm glad I could put you on the spot.
Never tried that before.
Glad
okay.
I could put you on the spot for that.
I'm glad I didn't have the microphone in front of me doing that. Actually, I'm glad that you've got it over there.
But I mean, this is so interesting as well. How the songs are so intricate, you know.
There's a lot of things going on.
So much to them.
Yeah, there are a lot of things going on.
And deceptively easy, as you said, because sometimes you hear...
Deceptively simple.
Sorry, yeah, deceptively simple. Because often sometimes you hear covers on YouTube and stuff, and there's just something that isn't quite right with the rhythms. It's hard to get it right, you know?
Mm. I mean, it has to do with feel from the very, very word go, I think.
Yeah.
Making a decision what the feel is going to be of a song.
Yeah.
And I hope that I've managed to capture that. I mean, as a fan myself, I'm very happy with what I've managed to capture. So
that's great.
I'm over the moon, to be quite honest, because I'm just such a fan of the band that...
Yeah, and we are such fans as well. And it's so amazing to get to listen to your project here and it's just getting another opportunity to rediscover and
I can take off this
listen
bass
to
now.
these
Just lie this down.
epic
Lie
songs
this down.
written
Epic.
by
That's
Morrissey and Johnny Marr.
That's what I call Erik Berglund.
Oh yeah, epic Erik.
Epic Berglund.
Oh, Karin! Yes, we are still live, Karin. John has been introducing his new single and his new video. So I think actually that was a good finishing point, though, to say that you are very, very happy to do this project. You're very excited. We're excited. And everything is fantastic. So I think we should finish on that. And we'll just let you know again that in 2 weeks' time, end of September, you have the second single from the Your Strange Ways project coming out. And it is...
This Charming Man.
Yeah, so we've had Hand in Glove, and then we'll have This Charming Man, which I have to say is one of my absolute favorites. So
it's one of my absolute challenges and a favorite too.
Yeah, and we're working on a video for that one, of course, as well.
Yes.
So yeah, that's going to be interesting.
See how that goes.
Karin and everybody else who are watching, we're going to finish off just showing you the video that was released today again. And with that, we're just going to say bye for now. And we're looking forward to hearing more from you, Johnny Mitch, in the very near future, in 2 weeks' time.
Thanks. Hope you enjoy this, guys. It's been a great pleasure for me being a fan of this type of music.
Yeah, and
I
follow.
do hope you enjoy what we're doing. Yeah, please go in, follow, watch.
I was just going to do some advertising for you.
So, yeah,
Follow
you.
Johnny Mitch on, we got Facebook, there's YouTube, Instagram, and Spotify. So that's 4 platforms that they can go and listen to you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Johnny Mitch, and everyone who's been watching.
Thank you, and thank you out there, guys.
We're going to show you again.
Hope to see you out there on the road when I come back and play this music live.
Yay.
I would love to do that.
Here is the new video from today, Hand in Glove, and we will see you again soon. Thank you very much, Johnny Mitch.
Thank you, and
Thank
thanks
you.
very much.
Bye.
Hand in glove, the sun shines out of our behinds. No, it's not like any other love. This one is different because it's us.